Hello, welcome to Ed's Reading Room. I've got two fantastic books to recommend to you this month. The first is a Roman mystery scrolls story called The Poisoned Honey Cake, and this is by Caroline Lawrence and is published by Orion. And the second, perhaps for slightly older readers, is by John Grisham, that wonderful writer who has written, this is his second book for children, and this is another Theodore Boone book. This is called The Abduction, and this is published by Hodder Children's Books. More about that in a minute. So the first book then, The Poisoned Honey Cake by Caroline Lawrence. This is part of a new wonderful series for children. It is historically accurate, but very interesting and absolutely action-packed. In this story, Floridius, the soothsayer, feels that he's losing his talents for predicting the future, and his apprentice wants to try and help him. I'm going to read a little bit from the very beginning of the book, and this is from Scroll 1. Threptus, the soothsayer's apprentice, was hungry. He was so hungry that his head was dizzy. He was so hungry that his stomach was groaning. He was so hungry that he could barely concentrate on the task his mentor had assigned him, to learn a list of bad omens. It was a cold November morning in the Roman port of Ostia, and Threptus was sitting at a small wooden table in a chilly wooden shack. A papyrus scroll and a wax tablet lay open before him. He was supposed to be copying the list from the papyrus onto the tablet. This would help him learn the omens while improving his writing skill. Ignoring his fiercely rumbling stomach, Threptus gripped the bronze stylus and made a start. Bad Omen 1. If lightning strikes you. As he copied the letters, he tried to imagine what it would be like to be struck by a bolt from Jupiter. It would be much worse than being hungry, he thought, but at least it would be over quickly. Being hungry seemed to go on and on. So he's trying to find some tidbits of information to pass back to his master to help him make some money, basically, so that they can eat again. It's a very exciting story. Along the way, of course, he comes across the poisoned honey cake, which he eats as he is so very, very hungry. But is this really going to have the dire consequences that he starts to think it may have? The second book by John Grisham here is Theodore Boone, The Abduction, a fantastic real page-turner of a book. It is brilliantly written, as you may expect, and it is a fantastic follow-on from the first book, Theodore Boone. From the very beginning, in this story, April, who is Theo's very, very close friend, has been abducted, and it has caused a tremendous shock to Theo, his family, and April's family, of course, and all their friends. So just to give you a little taste of the book from the very beginning. The abduction of April Finnemore took place in the dead of night, sometime between 9:15 p.m, when she last spoke with Theo Boone, and 3:30 a.m, when her mother entered her bedroom and realised she was gone. The abduction appeared to have been rushed. Whoever took April did not allow her to gather her things. Her laptop was left behind. Though her bedroom was fairly neat, there was some clothing strewn about, which made it difficult to determine if she'd been able to pack. Probably not, the police thought. Her toothbrush was still by the sink. Her backpack was by her bed. Her pyjamas were on the floor, so she at least had been allowed to change. Her mother, when she wasn't crying or ranting, told the police that her daughter's favourite blue and white sweater was not in the closet, and April's favourite sneakers were gone too. The police soon dismissed the notion that she'd simply run away. There was no reason to run away, her mother assured them, and she had not packed the things that would make such an escape successful. A quick inspection of the home revealed no apparent break-in. The windows were all closed and locked, as were the 3 doors downstairs. Whoever took April was careful enough to close the door behind them and lock it on the way out. After observing the scene and listening to Mrs. Finnemore for about an hour, the police decided to have a talk with Theo Boone. He was, after all, April's best friend, and they usually chatted by phone or online at night before going to sleep, which, of course, that is what they had done the night before. So Theo and his parents, who are both lawyers, are called to actually go and talk to the police and see what they know about this. Of course, they don't really know anything at all. Theo is not very keen on going to school. He wants to just get on and try and, join in the manhunt. He and his friends are arranged to meet up with the police. And of course, Theo is actually against time, trying to find, can he use his legal knowledge and his investigative skills to actually try and help find April. Well, you'll have to read it to find out. It is fantastic. A real page-turner, as I say, of a book, and absolutely action-packed. I do hope you're going to enjoy these books, and I hope you'll enjoy the fun activities I've written to accompany them.